Okay, good afternoon. We are going to go ahead and call the Senate Committee on Revenue and Economic Development to order. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Chair Neal,
Here.
Senator Vice Chair Donate, Senator Cruz Crawford, Senator Steinbeck, Senator Stone.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Please mark Senator Steinbeck absent excused until he arrives. Okay, so we have two bills to hear today, AB 160 and AB 226. We will open up the hearing for Assembly Bill 160 and call our presenters to the table.
Good afternoon, Chair Neal, Vice Chair Doniate, and members of the Senate Revenue Committee. My name is Steve Yeager. I represent Assembly District 9, which is down in southwest Las Vegas. And thank you so much for allowing me to present Assembly Bill 160 in its first reprint to you this afternoon or evening. I'm not sure where we are. With me at the table is Assemblymember O'Neill, who is a co-sponsor of the bill. Assemblymember O'Neill and I had the pleasure to travel to Ireland in 2023 as part of an official delegation. Assemblymember Gray went with us as well, and I brought a photo to show you where we presented the Nevada flag to the Senate Majority Leader out there, whose name is Senator Daley, but not Skip Daley. Mark Daley is the Senate Majority Leader. And then we met the former Prime Minister, Bertie Ahern, who was part of the peace agreement between Northern Ireland and Ireland. So we had the pleasure to go out there, and what we learned is that Ireland has played an outsized role in Nevada's development as well. Irish immigrants played a key role in Nevada's mining boom in the mid-1800s, and many prominent Nevadans are of Irish descent. One that comes to mind right away is our former Governor O'Callaghan. And on the trip to Ireland, we learned that a number of states were forming Ireland trade commissions to further strengthen ties between Ireland and respective states, whether it be commercial, educational, or cultural, to the mutual benefit of Ireland and the state. This has become particularly important with Brexit, as Ireland is now separated from the European Union, and obviously our current political international climate has made relationships a little bit more difficult between the United States and other countries. So that is the genesis of this bill. We learned from other states, and Chair, if I could just give you some pretty quick information about the bill itself and then what's happened in other states and why I think it'll be important here. The bill is pretty straightforward. This commission will live in the Governor's Office of Economic Development. It will be comprised of 9 members with appointments from the Speaker, the Senate Majority Leader, and the Governor. And the goals of the commission are in Section 5 of the bill, which you will find at the bottom of page 3. There are a number of items that are listed there, I think 5 or 6 of them. I won't read them all. Reporting on the commission's activity is required, and the commission can accept gifts and grants, which we anticipate it will do so that it won't cost the state anything. I know this is not a fiscal committee, but we did have a stop in the Ways and Means Committee, and we were able to get GOED to confirm that they could absorb the staffing to actually have meetings. And then in every other state that's done this, commission grants and gifts have paid for exchange trips, so that would not be a cost to the state. 23 other states have already formed an Ireland Trade Commission, and 23 more are considering it this legislative session. So we might be up to nearly 45 states. The West Virginia Ireland Trade Commission, created through legislation sponsored by a friend of mine, Speaker Roger Hanshaw, has been very, very successful. There have been collaborations between the state of West Virginia and Ireland, such as partnerships between the universities, and in addition, a couple of Irish companies have actually opened up divisions or branches in the state of West Virginia because of those relations. So I think we could replicate that success here. This is a no-cost opportunity for the state of Nevada. And with that, Chair, I would urge your support, and Assemblymember O'Neill and I are here to answer any questions you might have about the bill.
Members, any questions? Senator Stone.
Thank you for the presentation. I had the pleasure of going to Ireland last summer, and it's just an astonishingly beautiful country. Do we know how much trade exists between Ireland and Nevada at this point in time, and what we anticipate by getting into this agreement?
Steve Yeager for the record, through you, Chair, to Senator Stone. I don't have the answer to that. I can get it for you. I wanted to note that obviously it's a crazy part of session and it's hard to line up presenters. So in the Assembly Committee, we actually had Senator Daly had zoomed in from Ireland for that hearing, and he was able to provide some of that information. I think with the time difference, we weren't able to get him today. I think it's early in the morning in Ireland, but I'll get that information for you. You might know it. I'll get that information, and I just want to agree with your assessment. I mean, if you haven't had a chance to go to Ireland, I think Ireland itself is a beautiful country, but the dynamic between Ireland and Northern Ireland and how hard they've had to work at finding peace between those two countries, frankly, was inspiring to me and made me appreciate what we have here in this country all the more. And just the pride that came with knowing the United States was a real broker of that Good Friday peace agreement, and they love Americans over in Ireland. So if you get a chance to go, but to your question, I don't have that, but I will get that answer for you.
May I add, Assemblyman P.K. O'Neill for the record. I took a tour also and Ireland has a very active IT building. I mean, they almost compete directly with California on the development of IT and the schools too for IT. And when I got talking to them about our various server farms here and our moving towards some IT programs, the colleges, the head of the chair, that's what I was trying to think of the college, on business was talking about doing exchanges and how much they would like to do that. Because one of the things that they find very easy, and that is, it's funny, the language barrier isn't as difficult to overcome, they had to say. And that was their comment. But they did say that communication was helpful in dealing with IT subjects and was one of their selling points or one of their desires to open up with the various states, going directly to the states to exchange not only students but also some of the products. And they were legitimate products. We were talking about IT development. It wasn't just for Jamersons and for our pecan punches. It was legitimate issues. So I just wanted to bring that part up, that the conversation is real that they had, and they are very strong. And as the speaker said, Senator Daly, it's going 2 a.m., and he said he'd even try to stick around, but we weren't sure when, and it wasn't fair to keep him on the line for us today. So they are serious about this, and that's what I wanted to drive home, and I appreciate the time.
I don't believe members have any additional questions, so we will move to support for AB 160. Is there anyone here in support? Please come to the table.
Good evening, Chair Neal, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Taylor Avery, spelled Taylor, and I'm the Manager of Political Affairs for the Vegas Chamber. The Chamber is in support of the bill as it provides an opportunity to expand economic development efforts and bolster economic relations between Nevada and Ireland. Thank you.
I don't see anyone in Vegas. BPS will go to the phone line.
Thank you, Chair. The public line is open and working. However, there are no callers at this time.
Okay, thank you for that. So we will move to anyone here in opposition of AB 160. Seeing no opposition in Carson City, we'll go to Vegas. We see no one in the room. BPS, is there anyone on the phone line?
Chair, there are no additional callers on the line at this time.
Thank you. Is there anyone here in neutral on AB 160? Seeing no one in Carson City, seeing no one in Vegas. BPS, is there anyone on the phone line?
Chair, there are no callers at this time.
Thank you. Sponsors, any closing remarks? Seeing no closing remarks, we will go ahead and close the hearing for Assembly Bill 160. We will open the hearing for Assembly Bill 226. Okay, so we will go into a brief recess while we wait for Assemblywoman Mosca.
Ready for the work session. I'm not gonna repeat.
All right, so we're gonna come out of the recess and we're just gonna go ahead and enter into a work session for AB 160 while we're waiting. So I will turn it over to Mr. Tower.
Thank you, Chair Neo. Christian Tower, Fiscal Analysis Division for the record. In work session before the committee today is Assembly Bill 160, which creates the Nevada Island Trade Commission. It was heard in this committee on May 29th, so today. There are no amendments suggested for this measure. Thank you, Chair.
All right, members, we just heard the bill. I don't believe you probably have any additional questions. I will entertain a motion to do pass. So I have a first from Senator Cruz Crawford, second from Senator Donyate. Is there any comments on the motion? Seeing no comments on the motion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Seeing no opposition, the AB 160 unanimously passes. I will assign the floor statement to Senator Stone.
Thank you.
Okay, so that ends our work session for 160. We will now move to open up the hearing on AB 226.
Thank you, Chair Neal and the committee. I've never been in this committee, so it's great to see you. I appreciate it. Erica Mosca, for the record, Assembly District 14. Thank you for hearing AB 226 today. I will be brief. AB 226 says that anytime we give out a tax abatement through the Governor's Office of Economic Development, or GOED, we will ensure that there is a community benefits agreement so that we are making sure when we're giving out money from our state that companies are helping our communities and that they're required to get to know our communities. So what the bill, there's two important items. One is right now in GOED, because I've had many conversations right now, they do have a place on the application where you could do corporate social responsibility, but it's not required. So what this bill says is that is now required, but it makes sense. It's with it. They have 2 years to turn it in, because what we're trying to do is signal to the nonprofit community and to places where these companies are coming that, hey, this company is coming, they got an abatement, and they have to help the community. So come get to know the company, and they have to turn it in within 2 years to say that they would do it. We made sure it does not impact film tax abatements in any way, which was a big issue. And you will see it's the reprint because there, at the first was a fiscal note because it was asking GOED to go back to all of their abated companies and make sure there was a community benefits agreement. But by taking that out and making it just going forward, we were able to remove the fiscal note on the Assembly side. So with that, I'm open to questions.
Members, any questions? So I just had one, on the community benefits agreement in the bill, I didn't see, I guess, what are your expectations for the community to come in and collaborate? Because it doesn't actually give a particular criteria or areas in which those things would be negotiated.
Thank you, Chair Neal. That's a great question, and that was something that I really, talked to GOED about, was they didn't want in statute certain criteria, knowing that different companies have different mission statements, different values, will be in different areas. But I will say that's why I put 2 years, so that honestly I can come back to this building and see, did they do this? Because they had 2 years to do it. And as chair of the nonprofit caucus, it was something that we've been talking a lot about when we talk about public-private partnership, that we're hoping that this is just another way that now we know the GOED board meets in a public way when they approve companies, that now we can help our nonprofits know, hey, this company is now coming to East Las Vegas, let's say. They do things that have to do with technology, and maybe their corporate social responsibility is about teaching kids coding or something. Now we can tell all of our nonprofit folks and people we know, this company is getting money from the state to do XYZ. You actually, and even schools in the area, you match their criteria. So you should get to know them in some way, because they're required to come up with a plan. So they have to have something. And if you got to know them, maybe they could add you in.
That response. So how are you gonna make sure that actual community is involved, right? I mean, you served, I think, you saw the Oakland A's experience. And at the end of the day, right, there's what we see as community, and then there's, I call it the ivory tower group, that is usually has a seat at the table that is not necessarily in respective districts. So how are you going to make sure that those voices are participating? Because one of the elements of the deals, they're originally confidential, and you hear about it on the back end.
I think that's a great question, and that's why we put the 2-year times on it, so that it was exactly that. How would you know? But now we're saying, okay, you got the abatement, it's public. You must talk to the community. You must create a community benefits plan within the 2 years, because we're going to come back and make sure you have it. And honestly, I will come back with more legislation if they have not done it.
Answer, Senator Cruz Crawford.
Thank you, Chair. Chair's question had me thinking, is there any report out mechanism for their community involvement? I was looking through the bill, but I didn't see it, so I just want to make sure I didn't.
Yes, thank you. Good question. Yes, it's supposed to be what GOED does, and I'm sure they're here or someone will testify. That's what we agreed to, because they have to be able to come back and say what they did. So it can't just be, it's a checkoff box. So they have the 2 years to present it. Because I know, and I could be incorrect, but I believe that taxation and Mr. Nakamoto, that part of what they do is they not audit, but they go back to make sure they did all the things they were supposed to do. So we would be able to see, since this is now required on the application, did you actually do it? And it is something, because I'm passionate about nonprofits, I'm passionate about making sure we have revenue that's helping our community, that this is actually being followed through and not just something. I'm not just trying to have a checkbox to say I did it. I really want to make sure it's actually helping the community.
Thank you.
Is there any additional questions? Seeing no questions, we will go ahead and open up for support for AB 226.
There's the button. Hi, good afternoon. I am Sarah Mercereau, appearing as Sarah Mercereau, board member of Healthy Communities Coalition of Lyon and Story County. And I cannot express any more urgently my excitement and support for this bill. For example, HCC, we have food pantries in 3 communities in Lyon County. And in just April, we served 1,440 families that were in need of nutritious, healthy food support. So you asked excellent questions, Chair, And one answer is that fortunately nonprofits have executive directors or they have board members who are people who will boldly go and engage with businesses that receive tax abatements. Another answer is that all communities in Nevada need assistance at these most fundamental levels of food security and affordable housing assistance, for example. And so it would be great to get alignment between you're a tech company and we have kids who want tech training, but it will be greatly beneficial if these communities work, these businesses that receive abatements work with communities even at the most fundamental levels. So appreciate the committee's support for this bill. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the committee. For the record, Mindy Elliott, MENDYELLIOTT, here today on behalf of Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority and Rural Nevada Housing Authority. And I like to agree with the previous speaker. For years, I was, and I think Senator Neal knows this, I worked for First Interstate, Norwest, Wells Fargo, had a responsibility for community outreach and community engagement. And I think that as a corporation, we had the opportunity to work with corporations as well as the nonprofit entities. I think that this, taking this next step as far as community engagement with the state and with GoEd just reinforces the need for our entities that are moving to our state to be responsible, especially to those communities that they're investing in and to the people that are working for them. So I support this bill and I appreciate your vote.
Is there anyone else here in support? So I don't see anyone in Vegas. We'll go to the phone lines for support for AB 226.
Thank you, Chair. To testify in support to Assembly Bill 226, please press *9 now to take your place in the queue.
Chair, members of the committee, Samantha Barnes, on behalf of LVGEA, we wanted to thank Assemblymember Mosca for bringing this bill forward and working together with us.
Thank you, Chair. Stephen Wood with the Governor's Office of Economic Development for the record. First, I'd like to say thank you to Assemblymember Mosca for working with us on the bill. I apologize I didn't make it down here quick enough for the hearing, but I did hear one question regarding how it would be enforceable or what the requirements would be. When a company comes for an abatement and there are statutory requirements, they actually end up in a contract that the company and the state are both a party to. So this community benefits agreement would become part of that. Just wanted to clear that up.
Is there anyone else here neutral? Seeing no one in Vegas. Is there anyone on the phone line in neutral?
Chair, the public line is open and working. We have no callers at this time.
Okay, so we will go ahead and close the hearing on AB 226. We will go ahead and open up for work session on AB 226.
Thank you, Christian Tower, Fiscal Analysis Division, for the record. Assembly Bill 226 revises provisions relating to economic development. And what was just heard in this committee, there are no amendments to this measure for the committee. Thank you, Chair.
I will entertain a motion for AB 226 to do pass. So I have a first from Senator Donyate. So I have a second from Senator Cruz Crawford. Is there any discussion? Seeing, no questions, I don't even know what I'm doing. So so there's no discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Seeing no opposition, AB 226 passes unanimously. I will assign the floor statement to Senator Cruz Crawford. All right, so that is our business for right now. I don't want to recess, but we might have a meeting tomorrow because we have to close out another bill. So it'll be call of the chair. We'll post an agenda because we have to move a bill out tomorrow. And so I will go ahead and open up for public comment. Is there anyone here for public comment? Seeing no one for public comment, is there anyone in Vegas? I don't see anyone in Vegas. Is there anyone on the phone line for public comment?
Chair, there are no callers at this time.
All right, so that concludes our meeting for the day. We are adjourned.